Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, which is currently called Marcus's Underworld. That's kind of a joke. It's an in-joke for me because one of the main characters of my manga is named Marcus, and I kind of currently I identify with Marcus more than I do anything else. But today we're going to do something different because I had promised to make a video about how to use Procreate. And I've made several attempts and I've discovered that I simply do not know enough about how to make a video like this to be able to keep from it turning into 20, 30, 40 minutes an hour of you watching me draw. And so what I thought I'd do, since there's an eclipse coming up pretty soon, I think it's next Monday, thought that I'd make a video real quick and make it a point to get it out today so that it'll be up before the eclipse comes out. So, okay, that's fine. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to use this as the opportunity to show you how to use Procreate with an iPad, okay, an iPad Pro. And I just made a mess on my screen. I can't believe I did that. There's something there on the screen. I went to wipe it, and now it's left a mess. So I'll just edit this part out here in just a second. Okay, I'm back. I'm guessing that was part of my breakfast that I did not clean up from the area here, and it got on the screen and I smeared it. Sorry about that. So we're going to do an eclipse. Now, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to explain using Procreate. So now, when you get started, you have the big empty thing. It's not empty in mine right now because I've got lots and lots of stuff, but you're going to find it empty, and there's going to be some stuff, like this stuff comes with it, but all it is just pictures. It's worthless, so don't worry about it. I left them in. But I have an untitled group here that I'm going to use for illustrations that I make for the videos. So I have here, there's a plus button up in the top. So you press and it says Create. And in this case, there's a whole slew of that says 4K, A4, so forth. I've created a lot of these for my own purposes over time. But in the case here, we're just going to choose screen size. And that's the size of the iPad. That could be different for your device. Maybe you've got the smaller one. Maybe by now, if you're watching this later on, maybe you have the 10-inch model. Doesn't matter. Choose this one. So now, instantly, you get this nice big thing. Now, I'm going to shrink it out. And all you do is you just use 2 fingers to shrink that. So you just do that, and you can move it around like it's a piece of paper. That's awesome. It's one of the most awesome features that they have on there. When I demonstrate Procreate to people, I've heard people say everything from wow to that's what's up. And they're right. That is what's up. So we're going to do this on multiple layers. Now, the first thing that we want to do, though, is we want to change the color of the background. Okay? And you can do that here. Okay? This is actually, that's wrong. You go to the layers, and the layers look just like this. There's this double box. You hit it, and right here is the background. And when you do this, you get the color wheel. We're just going to go black. Okay? But then we're going to turn around and we're going to hide it. Okay? And probably ought to put a white one in there, a white background of some type, just to be doing it, because I may need it. You will find that whenever I do these demonstrations, I fly by the seat of my pants, because you never know, you might forget something. So I'm just going to put white in here, and let's see, do I have white selected? Sure do. Using that as a way of demonstrating, this is where you choose your colors. You can swirl this wheel around, get your different colors, or you can just choose from in here. So I want white for this background. Now I'm going to choose for the background the airbrushes. That's what we're going to be using primarily in this, is the airbrushes. So I'm going to hit the hard airbrush, because I want to see what the size is going to be. Yeah, it's going to be just the right size, I think, for the moon. So I'm just going to fill this up so that I got it. I could actually fill it from the... I'm not going to tell you everything. You can actually go here and hit fill and fill it with the color. You go and discover those things. We'll do this ourselves later. Okay, so now I have this empty right here, so we're going to go ahead and use that. And yeah, I'm glad I have this so that you can see. I'm going to choose black again, And I'm going to use that same brush to make the moon. This one right here, this hard brush. That's a standard brush in under airbrushing in Procreate. So let's see, where do I want this moon to be? Do I want it to be here? Now it seems small, but you see, this is screen size. You can zoom this in as far as you want. Doesn't matter. Maybe I don't want it exactly there. Maybe I want it to be... You can always move this. I'll show you in a little bit. In fact, I'll show you now. So that's off center, right? If you wanted to move something, there's a selection tool right here. And for... You've used this in Photoshop, except that it works so wonderfully in here. You just do that, and now you can move the sucker, but you wind up moving all sorts of stuff all over the place. I'm not going to do that, because I'm just going to leave it where it is. Because that's fine. Okay, now that's our moon that's in the way, correct? Okay, so we need to just turn off this white background now. So now we have the white, the white background. See, now I can't figure out what I'm talking about. The black background that we changed earlier. Now I'm going to go back to white, just straight up white, and now we're going to go to a different brush, the soft brush. Now this might take, yeah, I knew it was going to say that. I don't want to open the layer. I want to be on the layer that I want to be on. Okay, so make it bigger. And it looks like I hid that. I didn't mean to hide it. Oh, you see what I did? See what I did there? See, this is what you call flying by the seat of your pants. Here, let's just get rid of this layer right here. Then you can see how that goes away. Delete. Just like that. Let's put it... Now, let's make this easier. Let's go like this. Choose white. Okay, now I don't have to worry about it. So, I'm on this layer. This is a blank layer of its own. Go black. Come on, go away. And that's not my moon. See, this is what I mean by not knowing how to make my videos. So I'm just doing this by the seat of my pants. So I go back to the hard brush so that I got a hard round edge. So there's the moon, right? All right, now let's go back to changing this to black. So, oh, my moon's gone, right? Well, no, because we're going to go back here. We're going to choose white again. And we're going to get this airbrush. And I think some of you have figured out what it is that I'm about to do. Yeah, I need a layer behind. That's my mistake. So layers are easy to move. Watch that. You just hold down. It gets big. You can move it exactly where you want it. I want it behind that. The reason why it's going to be behind it is so that you can do this. See that? So I'm going to make a circle. And I don't want it to be like super, super bright. See, and I can erase that as time goes by. So that's behind this layer. Okay? Now, come over here and make this smaller. And that's what this is for right here. This is so that you can change the size of the nozzle or the size of the brush, whatever it is that you're using. So I've changed my nozzle down, and I'm going to go around that edge again so that it's a little bit brighter. Doesn't even have to be perfect, because you know the circle, the light that's around an eclipse is, you know, it's diffuse and it's sort of all over the place. So I've just made this a little bit smaller. So let's go around this edge again. See how this is getting a little bit brighter? Let's come down like this, because, you know, if you've ever seen an eclipse, you know that it's, you know, it's not uniform. It doesn't look like the photographs do. So what I'm doing is I'm shrinking that down a little bit at a time. And maybe I don't exactly like... Nope, I'm going to leave it that way. I'm going to keep making it smaller, but following closer to the outer edge each time. Now you see? Nope. Make it smaller. And I'm putting the pen right on the inside here, so that just the very outer edge of that shows. But it's going to be, you know, not uniform. Okay? Now you see, this is what we're winding up with. Whenever I take that out, you get this sort of donut thing. Okay, make it a little smaller one more time. And see, we got that sort of gradient, but not quite uniform, because it wouldn't be uniform. It never is. Okay, now, of course, we want some sort of yellow in there. We want it to be something like that. So this is my opportunity to show you how you change the wheel. You drag this around, and then this is where you choose the gradient in between. Now this is the way most of these things work, correct? So does that look probably like sunlight yellow? Close enough. Now I want to put that on its own layer. So another layer just before you just keep putting plus. You can have as many layers as you want. Now I want just a little bit of this yellow around the outside. And this is like, it is like we said, not uniform, but it also shouldn't be that deep of a color. So now I get to show you how to use the opacity. And one way that you can do that, I'm going to show you this trick because it's not an easy trick to do. If you tap two fingers right here, it comes up layer opacity. So now you can adjust how much of that yellow is in there. Okay? The other way to do it is up here. You saw it turn blue. If you go here for adjustments, layer opacity is on top. It's good to know either one of them because sometimes the tapping with two fingers can get frustrating, and it's not because it doesn't work well. It is because if you're an artist, you get annoyed at things easily. So there's that. I got this so far, right? Now, we're not done though, because we want something to have sort of a starbursty thing going on here. So we're going to try using the smaller soft airbrush. I did this the other day and it was so much fun. So what we have to do now is we have to figure out, first of all, what layer I'm on. I don't want it on that layer. And at first, whenever you're brand new, I'm showing you, keep the layers separate because you're going to thank yourself for having done that. So let's see what I got. It's still yellow, so I don't want yellow. So we're going to go back to white, and we're going to take and we're going to see. Now I'm playing with this because, you know, you don't know how much of this you want to have. So we're just sort of, see, I don't like how that turned out. And this is where I can demonstrate something cool. They have an automatic line function. I'm not going to use it much here, but they have this automatic line function where if you do this, well, I should have demonstrated it this way. So I got this wiggling line, wait, and it turns straight. And then you can sort of direct it where you want it to go. See, now I could just do that. I'm not going to do that though, because I want to play around with, you know, being sort of an asymmetrical starburst thing going on here, so that it's not. Now I'm going to turn this thing so that I can, you know, okay. There we go. Well, maybe not. I got a little bit of light in my eyes here too, so it might not be exactly perfect. Just sort of pulling in toward that center right there. Okay, so we've got that a little bit. Now I want to like make this layer with the yellow a little bit less defined. So again, using the airbrush though. Here's the smudge tool. The smudge tool, you can access all the exact same things. Of course you can, right? So we're going to use that soft airbrush, same one. Now, and by the way, this right here is the intensity. This little bit right here, which I'm probably covering up with this hand. See here? So, brush opacity. Let's see here. Let's see what happens. Don't want to go too far with it because this is sort of like digital painting. It's sort of fun. It's like this, 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 like this. Just keep going, keep going. Yeah, that's getting a little less defined. I'm assuming I'm on the right layer. Yes, it's getting a little bit less defined. Okay. Now, in Procreate, now we're going to cheat a little bit, but you've got to know about these things. If you go at the top here and you slide back and forth, there's all sorts of different brush categories. They have one in here called luminance. And there's a bunch of really cool things in here, and one of them is this flare. Okay, now I've got the flare turned all the way up. And I've got it set for white. Now, once again, we're going to do its own layer, and we're just going to put it like right in here Nope, it's got to be over top of the moon, because right here's where the moon is. So let's see. Let's play around with. Where's this going to be? Yeah, it didn't do anything until I touched the screen. So let's go like this. See, it's too uniform. So let's give it a turn. Yeah, let's make it a little bit stronger. Yeah, see, I don't want it to be. Nah, don't want it to not match. Actually, here. This is quicker if we just do it this way. There we go. So what I did there was I couldn't get it to match the together. Oh, look at this. That happens sometimes. That's if you want to get rid of that, you just tap twice and a mistake, like if you've got a mistake. See, I've got that like I like it to, so I'm going to go to this light pin because we're going to use it in a second. So, oops, I made a mistake. If you want it back, you just tap 3. If you want it gone, you tap 1. And you don't lose your history. Now, is this like too gaudy, going sort of like this? Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's a little too gaudy. So if it is, then we'll just go back to that layer and we'll use our eraser. And I'm going to use the bigger soft brush. See here? Soft airbrush. Because why? Well, maybe this stuff out here, whoop, it must be too big. Because all of this intensity of this flare is probably too much. So we're going to cut it back some. Just erase it. Just erase it. Just erase it. Because you want it to be there. You want this flare where it's starting to break. Because you know the reason why people like that image more than they like anything else? They like it not just the whole thing covered up, because when the light's covered up, it's not the greatest thing. But whenever the light starts to peek back out, that feels good. People like that. And that's why that's the most popular type of image. Now you can always turn this way if you want to get its thing. Now, here's something that's impossible, but we're going to do it anyway because I want to demonstrate how this works. Go back to the light pen, and I want to show you how you could use this to do something that is technically impossible. You would never see this in a photograph. But after this is over with, you can tell people, I caught a photograph of this, even though it's impossible. A shooting star that just happens to be going across, and that's really too thin, so let's see, yeah. So we're going to start with the tail, because it's going to be like really thin, and it's going to go toward being larger. And this is where I'm going to let the automatic thing kick in, I think. See, I don't like that. So thick, wait. Yeah. Yeah, but you see, I'm breaking my own rule here. Keep it on its own layer. Now, is that too small? Maybe that is too small. And actually, let's see here. Thinking about where it would be. Where would it, think about it all the time, like. Yeah, you see, that looks more like it, because now, I'm going to zoom in here, and with that same, well, maybe not, maybe I'll get it sized down a little bit, and then do this. Because you would never be able to, this picture could never exist, but I'm going to do it anyway, because you can always take this out after you've done it. See? And then across the moon here, you can see the little bits and pieces. You caught this in the photograph, right? It's the little bits and pieces or you can just say it's a comet if you want. You could add a little flare right here on the end or something. Comet. Something like that. Ah, see, too much. Too much. Don't want these to seem like they're much bigger than the real thing. See there? Now the piece de resistance, if you will. I think I can find it easily. I'm going to insert artwork. So if you go up here to the wrench, there's a wrench up here, You hit that, and you have a whole selection of things that you can use. Canvas. Canvas can actually give you a playback of what it is that you did. I'll show you that in just a second. But first I want to insert an image, because I have a star field that I want to put in here. So you need to know how to do that. So let's see. Import image. Now I have a set of categories, and I have two sets of screen tones, and it just happens to be the first screen tone. So there you go. So this is my star field. So I'm going to go ahead and make this as large as I need it to be. Larger, larger. Yeah, about that size. Now yes, it's covering it up because it actually needs to be moved down here. See? Now these stars would never show in the background here. See all of this? That would never show. So we're going to be on that layer, and we're going to take our eraser, same one right here, and I'm going to start doing this. Just gently removing the center of that, and maybe a little farther out. Maybe let's make it a little bigger. There we go. A little bit, not too far, because we want to leave some of it in there. Yeah, I think I just got in the way. I think I leaned in. Did you see? See, it's the back of my head. Okay. So we just did, and you can do this however. I've done this several times. You can do this however you want to. And the fact of the matter is, I think that, like, let's say that you don't like where the shooting star winds up being, the asteroid, the meteorite, whatever you want to call it, you can move this stuff around. So that is how you would do an Eclipse. And you can crop this if you want it to be bigger, because it's screen size, so there's plenty of resolution if you used screen size. You could choose a larger one, but then you would have to figure out how to do the circle. What I did was I used the hard airbrush to do that circle. So watch this again, comment at the bottom, and I'll see if I can get this out immediately, if not sooner. Thanks for watching.